On three. Welcome back to JK Rants and Reviews. I'm John, this is Caleb, and we're going to do the MCU ranking with Endgame, but with no Endgame spoilers.
Meaning we're going to rank all the films with absolutely no spoilers, but we're going to talk about a few reasons why we like them. I promise we will not spoil Endgame with that.
Right. 22 movies. We'll probably put in a little bit of tidbit on the movies we like and why, but, I mean, we're going to assume you've seen the rest of them, but we're going to keep Endgame spoiler-free, other than where we like it.
And I promise that what we will do won't be a complete spoiler if you haven't seen one of the other movies. Maybe a little bit, but not enough to make you want to turn the video off, hopefully.
Right.
And if you do, please come back.
All right, Caleb, start us off because your list is horrible.
He's a liar. So, we're going to go from the bottom all the way to number one. All right, so Captain America, the first Avenger. So, this movie, everybody, I feel like, puts it towards the bottom. First watch, I wasn't a big fan. However, after watching it, I found three things that I really liked about it. Number one, Captain America himself. The character was very relatable to me. Number two, the cinematography. I mean, it was done so well. It reminded me a little bit of Sucker Punch, but still done really well. And number three, Red Skull was believably crazy. It was so well done.
By a great actor.
Yeah.
Hugo Weaving.
So, directly following that, I'm going to go Iron Man 3. Now, I feel like this falls at the bottom of everybody's list. However, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. And it's only down here because I realized why it's down here. The villain is why it's down here. However, a couple things that I really fell in love with this movie is we're seeing Tony Stark's struggle post-Avengers. We're totally getting a view of what his PTSD looks like. Even his suits are having some struggles. After that, Doctor Strange. That one, everybody's going to hate me for that being that low.
It's a solid movie, but I mean, there's just really great movies in this lineup.
There are. It was a phenomenal film. I saw it twice in theaters.
Even the bad movies have rewatchability.
Oh yeah,
I mean, for most.
All of these, and you're gonna hate me for one of them, and we'll get there. But just getting introduced to Doctor Strange was really cool. He had the same thing that I feel like a lot of the Avengers have at first. Huge ego, gets boasted down real fast, and then all of a sudden we get this great character. And again, the cinematography and the effects, just brilliant. That's the main reason I went to see it a second time. Very well done. Mm-hmm. Direct after that is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, I love Ant-Man like anybody else. I love the rambles, but it's.
You like Ant-Man better than Ant-Man 2?
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, I like first Ant-Man more than Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
I like background stories. I'm a huge Batman Begins fan. Everybody else hates it because it's like an hour and a half of backlog.
Love it.
Thank you. But yeah, no.
Very underrated.
I agree. Ant-Man and the Wasp, super fun watch. I was laughing hysterically the whole film, and maybe that's part of why it's a little bit lower. It's comedic value with what I've seen every day in kind of action movies, but I did enjoy it. Directly following that,
you're going to say, did you ding it because of the comedy, but you really like Ragnarok?
Oh, we'll talk. We will talk. Directly after that, Ant-Man. First Ant-Man. I love the movie. Yeah, it's not a far separation. It's not like one's at the top, one's at the bottom, nothing like that. It's just a character that I had a lot of fun with, but I'm not as invested in. Now, maybe that's due to my own time. I'm running into the films. I saw the first Iron Man when it came out in theaters. I saw Incredible Hulk the day it came out in theaters. Mm-hmm. So I've been there since the beginning. Maybe I just don't have that close of a connection with Ant-Man. But thoroughly enjoyed the movie. And everything that Paul Rudd has had to offer to the character, awesome. They couldn't have picked anybody better.
Yep.
Let's see. Right after that.
He's struggling. His handwriting's better than mine.
Please hold. After that.
While he's working on that, let me just tell you for his list, he actually had the same one on there twice. It went from 7 to 19. No, what was it? 9 to 17?
It's 6 to 14.
Oh.
So here's the deal.
Caleb, I'm not touching the...
Alright, so directly after Ant-Man, it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. and I put Volume 1 before Volume 2. I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. It was comedic, brilliant, well shot. I don't really have anything bad to say.
Surprising, because I really thought that this would be the first bad movie in Marvel. When it wasn't, I was like, okay, we can do whatever we want now.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of people change their minds on this one, even worked with somebody who did. Directly after that, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Again, love the film, nothing bad to say. I'm just a sucker for backstory, like I said earlier. It works. It works.
Kurt Russell.
Again.
Put some respect on him.
Kurt Russell. Yeah, Okay. Ahead of that, I have Hulk. The Incredible Hulk. Feel like that might be a bit controversial, but I did it anyways. I really enjoyed Edward Norton's performance. I understand that there were reasons behind him not being recast. I have no qualms with that now. I did at the time.
When this movie shines where some struggle with Tim Roth.
Yeah, just a fantastic job. I mean, I really thought when I first saw the trailer that maybe it was going to be a little over the top. No problems.
I mean, his best performance? What do you think? That's what I would say. I loved him in Pulp Fiction.
Have you ever seen the show Lie to Me?
I have not. I'm going to now.
If you haven't, watch it. Imagine House, but different.
Oh.
And with Tim Roth.
I'm on it.
Right after that, Iron Man 2. This is the first time that we get to see a little bit more Iron Man in today's world. He's out. He knows where he's at. He knows what he's doing. We get Mickey Rourke, which was weird at the time. That was his big comeback. We got.
I loved him, but he was starting to struggle. He did Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man, which I love.
Yeah.
And he did Double Team, which is fantastic, with Dennis Rodman and Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's a great movie if you've never seen it. A 90s action flick. Great movie.
Yeah. Go see those. Right after that, Captain Marvel. Okay. I know it's a little low on the list, but I didn't mean for it to be. It's nothing personal. This movie was great, start to finish. They did a fantastic job with graphics, with having Nick Fury be a little bit younger. Mm-hmm. I mean, wow. He looked fantastic.
Best de-aging ever.
I am not saying he looks old, so don't fight me. Also, 90s nostalgia start to finish. When I saw that Nine Inch Nails t-shirt, I about jumped out of my seat. Blockbuster? Are you kidding me? I lived there.
Radio Shack.
Old
school Shack.
And then police cars being old square body Chevys and Fords. I mean, that's where I'm from. Alright, right after that, Spider-Man Homecoming. Again, it seems low. Trust me, nothing personal. This movie is great. It is my personal favorite Spider-Man film. I'd put the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man directly right behind it. This movie is great. I saw this film at the drive-in. I saw this film in multiple theaters. And every time that they are in that computer lab, I lose it. I just can't stop busting up laughing.
Michael Keaton. Oh my God. Third time as a winged figure. Oh my goodness.
Fantastic. Michael Keaton, please come back into my life.
And Robert Downey Jr. did not steal the show, which I was afraid he would.
He didn't.
Like Iron Man would steal the show. No.
You would think. Totally didn't.
I was afraid.
Right after that, Avengers Age of Ultron. Everybody, I feel like, judges this movie a little bit too harsh. This was the introduction that we found out, again, a little early, but we found out we were going to get Black Panther, and I was stoked. It took a little bit to get there, but, we also get to see some more of Tony's struggles. I am a huge Iron Man fan. I always lean towards him. We'll see how that changes later. But great movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. We were talking earlier. This is about where Joss Whedon started having some struggles.
Right. This is the film that broke Joss Whedon. He was struggling with trying to keep so many storylines available and balance between setting everything up that he just threw in the towel and he was done with it. You can see, I think some of that shows in his movie because he could only do so much here and so much there, but he had to talk about this, he had to talk about that. And I think this is the movie that broke him, because it wasn't like doing it at the end where it's a piece of cake and you only have a couple movies till you get to Infinity War or Endgame. There was a lot on his plate.
I will say one thing. Quicksilver. All right, going right after that, I am going to go to somebody here's least favorite film of all time, Thor Ragnarok. I loved this movie. We get some awesome things happening here. He hates it. We get the campy relationship between Thor and Hulk. That is something that I've been looking for a long time, and they did great. We get Loki again. If it's got Loki in it, I'm gonna see it.
This is the only good part of the movie is Loki's character. Loki's character is
send help.
Perfect as always.
No, get help. Get help. If you haven't seen it, I mean, you also get Jeff Goldblum.
Master, yep.
Jeff Goldblum.
Being Jeff Goldblum, but we love it and we want more of it, so keep coming with it.
He might actually like that part. All right,
you'll find out.
Moving right along, Black Panther. This movie could not have come out at a better time for our society as a whole and for the Marvel Universe. This movie is probably the only movie that in the MCU that I will turn on as background noise, and I wind up, instead of doing my cleaning, folding my laundry, I wind up sitting down watching that whole movie start to finish every single time. It is fantastic. The graphics are phenomenal. The cast is great. It gives me chills.
Great cast.
It gives me chills every time.
And the sister steals the show in some scenes. Like, she's fantastic.
She does.
A great addition to a Disney princess.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Right off of that, he's going to hate this one too. Thor, the original Thor. I had been waiting so long for that. And I love that we got to see Chris Hemsworth come along as Thor. I think he was the perfect fit. I don't think anybody else should have been cast.
I don't think he did anything before this. I think he did, he was in a very short cameo as Kirk's father.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
And he did fantastic and is the Thor we all deserved. Batman reference. But still, I love this movie start to finish. That's fair. I thoroughly enjoy getting the backstory and getting to see Thor kind of fall from grace and then have to rise back up. I think that is a great place to start a Thor story. Right after that, he thinks it's a little low. That's fair. The first Avengers. I love this movie. There was absolutely nothing wrong with this movie. We get to see everybody come together. We used Loki, which was the perfect choice. If you would have chose some other bad guy, then you wind up in the Justice League conundrum where you're like, where did this guy come from? What's happening? I don't understand. We did the right thing.
And next up, Thor: The Dark World. This movie is way higher up on my list than I feel like anybody else has it, and I understand. Some people consider this to be a good Marvel filler film. They don't necessarily have a lot of problems with it. However, I find it to be one of the more entertaining films. Just looking at the visuals alone, it is just so packed with beautiful scenery from the different worlds to the action scenes. Anytime I see Asgard, I geek out. It's absolutely astounding. It looks so great in this movie. And one of the main takeaways from any Thor film is going to be Loki. I absolutely love that we have so much Loki in this film. And I don't think any other Marvel fans would disagree with me. But yeah, that's my takeaway. Thor: The Dark World.
After that, I am going to go with the first Iron Man. This is a movie, there's nothing bad to say here. Robert Downey Jr., hands down, this amazing performance. And if it wasn't for that film, for him, for the cast, crew, director, the MCU wouldn't be possible right now.
I loved him from the beginning, from like Airplane. I think it was Airborne. Airborne with Mel Gibson. Like, from his younger days, I loved him from the beginning. I knew he'd been through some trouble, and I'm glad the Marvel took a chance on him. And I'm glad they pumped in the money they did and got some of the other fantastic actors, because without this movie proving to everybody that, hey, we're here to compete with The Dark Knight that came out the same year, you wouldn't have gotten the rest of these. It could have flopped, and Marvel could have tanked.
Oh, yeah, easily. Right after that, I'm going to go Avengers Infinity Wars. Now, it seems odd that it's not higher, but again, all of these movies, especially towards the top of the list, I don't have negatives. It's just rewatchability for me. This one is a bit long, on the long side. So, if you don't have a lot of time, it's a little bit more difficult to put the time into watching this film. It is great, start to finish. I'm on my chair the whole time. I'm nervous. I love this movie. It's really, really good. I actually watched it the night before going to see Endgame. Coming right off of that glory is going to be Civil War. This one, Oh man, I can't even explain how excited I was to go see this movie, and how sad I was before even seeing it with the whole Tony Stark and Steve Rogers just split. It just tugging at my heartstrings.
Getting violent.
Don't be so violent.
Punching your perfect teeth. Love that line.
Right after that, I am going to go Avengers Endgame. Now, yes, it is definitely one of the best. This is the movie that we've been waiting to see. This is what all of this led to, and they nailed it. They did a good job. I won't spoil it. My top movie, Captain America: Winter Soldier. Now, as somebody who said I'm an Iron Man and Thor fan, Captain America being at the top of my list says something. This was the sequel that Captain America needed. This is what I wanted to see. I rewatched this movie so many times. I'm stuck on my words. It's so good. It is my favorite Marvel film. If I think I'm just gonna pop one in, it's gonna be that. If I don't have a reason to go back and watch something, I will totally toss that movie in anytime.
It's a great build from start to finish, and it's building story and characters the whole way to where there's not really a low point. It's just a great movie, and that was directed by the Russo brothers, and they did such a great job. They handed them the reins to a lot more.
It's fantastic. This is my list. You don't have to agree with it. Totally fine.
Don't agree with it. Agree with mine.
If you agree with his, totally cool too. Got a different list? Chime in.
Right, exactly. We want to know your list, and then we want to know who you side with more. You're probably going to side with him because he's nicer, but we're going to check out my list. So, okay, starting at the very bottom on mine.
He hates Ragnarok, so.
It is Ragnarok, because this movie on paper probably was awesome. Like, the fight scenes, the characters, all that stuff, like, on paper probably looked great, but every 30 seconds there's a comedy joke. You lose main characters from the Thor universe, and nobody bats an eye, nobody cares, and it's like, done.
I see his point, but imagine how sad that movie would be.
I don't care. This is the movie that
This is not the DC universe.
This is the movie that brought us right before Infinity War. So Infinity War, it starts off very serious, and you got Thor Ragnarok. This is a bit of a... okay. Thor Ragnarok, all this building to the end of it, and like they're like, oh, we have this little glimmer of hope, and then Infinity War comes in and stomps on it.
Done.
Anyway, so Thor Ragnarok is horrible all the way through. There's only a couple things I can say that's good about it. I hate the fight scenes. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum is good.
Loki.
But there wasn't enough Jeff Goldblum. I feel like there needed to be more. That's my only negative with Jeff Goldblum. I would have wanted to see more of his conniving, more like Gladiator with messing with the slaves and like making them perform stuff. And I just wanted to see him more.
One question: did you laugh at Get Help?
No, I didn't laugh. I think I maybe laughed twice. I don't even remember what they were. They're terrible. They're throwaway jokes. They're lazy. I hated
it. He threw him.
I hated it. I hated this movie. Everything about it's bright and happy, but people still up and they die and blowing up places. And anyway, it's terrible. It's terrible. I can rant all day. It's horrible. God, I think had it come out at a different time and the movies before it were different, I probably would have a different opinion. But this is the movie before Infinity War, and it needed to be a certain tone, it needed to be a certain way. It wasn't. Anyway, that'd be the only one I'll probably rant on a lot.
Disagree.
Iron Man 3 is next. I love Iron Man, but Iron Man struggling for the third time, for me, was kind of annoying. You got the first movie where he builds the suits, he's figuring out he doesn't have his chest beats. I get that. That was a nice little struggle at the end with the villain. I like it. The second movie, though, you got the arc reactor messing with him and killing him. But in the third movie, spoiler, like, he removes the thing from his chest. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, he was willing to die to keep it in him for reasons. I'm sorry. That's the reason I hate Iron Man 3. Well, okay, the reason I hate Iron Man 3 also is the villain. The villain is garbage. It's garbage sauce. It builds you. The trailers got you so excited, and they smacked you in the face. The villains are garbage.
I will give him the point on that. However, I still thoroughly enjoy that film because I actually really like Tony's storylines.
I do like that. I do like the PTSD. I do like that they played on that because it is serious, and it's, you know, especially after our country and what's happened, and we all.
How can you go into a battle like that and then just be expected to be normal?
Right, right. I do like that, but I like his demon in a bottle. I wish they would have at least forced more alcoholism, and then that's what he's struggling with. He goes to the alcohol, make it darker and grittier, and have a great villain. But that is how your movies are. Is if they are great, they have a great villain because a great character needs a great villain to counteract with them. Anyway,
you're going dark.
Anyway, yeah, I know. I like my movies serious. Like, serious stuff is happening. People are dying. So, okay. After that one, we got Thor 2. And I like Thor 2. I like Thor 2. Thor 2, though, is a throwaway movie. You get Natalie Portman that doesn't want to return after this. You got action that's okay, but nobody cares. Like, tell me a Dark Elf's name. Tell me one of them. Tell me one. Like, tell me you knew they were Dark Elves. Tell me. Action's not bad. Loki's scene is good. Like, Loki's good, but it's a throwaway movie. It's not bad. It's just a throwaway movie.
It's the first time you get Thor and Loki at least a scene.
Avengers. They get to be brothers in Avengers.
But that was like quick.
Right.
This was like my god, it's gonna happen.
I know, I don't. Okay. I'm just saying it's a throwaway movie.
I'm zipping it.
Okay, the next one's Hulk, and I like Hulk for all the reasons that he said. It's just it ranks lower because unfortunately they recast. Unfortunately they re-CGI'd Hulk. Unfortunately there's great villains that they did nothing with. It's just that's the only problem with it. I love this movie. I wanted more from it, and yeah, it's kind of like Marvel washed their hands of it. They're like, oh, that wasn't real. We're just gonna go past that. So nothing against the Hulk.
I will say I am very sad about the washing the hands of the villains at least.
Right.
I mean, later on we could have seen some fun.
Right. I think that's what DC's trying to do now is focus on some villains because villains are awesome, and of course you have great.
We
main
might
characters.
do a rant video on the Joker.
There you go. Yeah, that's coming out soon.
I think we'll do that.
So after that, we got Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel ranks low on my list because it was kind of a snooze fest for me. The villains weren't that great. The chemistry between her and Samuel L. Jackson was horrible. There was jokes that didn't land. You find out how he loses his eye. Spoiler, but you see him with eye patch.
No!
He's just like, he shakes it off. He's like, nah, my eye.
I have a dog
Not worried about
Goose, so
if I stuck a piece of gum in my mouth and it fell out 2 seconds after chewing it, I would be more disappointed about losing that piece of gum with more gum in my pocket than Nick Fury was when he lost his freaking eye. And I don't like the fact that she shows up with alien tech. She's like, oh, Radio Shack. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Here's this beautiful pager and whoop, 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 communicator. Like, no. There was some lazy writing in this movie, some serious conveniences, and all it is a lot of it to tie into Avengers because you need an absolute BA to come in there, and that's the problem with her too. She's so awesome, nobody can touch her. Anyway, okay. So then we go to Ant-Man, and I love Ant-Man. Ant-Man's a great movie. It's rewatchable. It's great. The only thing that holds Ant-Man back is the fact that it's a copy of Iron Man. Basically, it's just we've seen it before, and we've seen it done better, and I like it. It doesn't stand out. Nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad about that. Then I go Thor. Nothing bad about the original Thor. It was done. I felt like they did it safely, which wasn't a bad idea because you were getting in the beginning of this. I think this was the third movie in the lineup.
A film like Thor hadn't been done at the time. This was
right.
Our first dealing with a...
Oh, and after Hulk, too, you had to be on the safe side a little bit. And so I think that's the only thing that holds back for it. I mean, Loki's a great villain, and he proves it throughout multiple movies, and I think that's probably why in Thor the Dark World, he wasn't really a villain, but Loki had been playing out a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's not bad. Then we go to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I really like Volume 2. The only thing I don't like about Volume 2 is they turned up the comedy and the disbelief. Like, you got Drax flying out the back of the spaceship like 5 minutes into the movie, and like he's getting slung around, hit by trees. And, like, it's like everybody's invincible even though they're not. And it's a little too much comedy. A little too much.
I will agree with the suspension of disbelief thing, but then again, in every single one of these movies,
right.
there's some of that.
They dial it to 11. They just take the comedy, but it's still a great flick. I love it. Kurt Russell, the guy, the Yondu. I mean, there's some greatness to this movie. It's a little too comical, especially for later on when stuff's getting more and more serious. But anyway. Then we go to Doctor Strange. I love Doctor Strange. Saw it in the theaters, I think, twice. It's a good movie. It's just, once again, we've seen it before. Like he was saying, like a character that's got everything going for him, that's got a huge ego, that loses everything and goes and finds himself. We've seen it before. The thing that holds this movie up is the CGI, is the great acting by Benedict Cumberbatch and his supporting cast, with be it the Cape or Wong, and some of the others. And there's some good heart in this movie. There really is.
And the ending is.
The CGI is phenomenal. I really do wish I would have seen it in 3D.
If you're not a fan of the movie and you're not going to watch the movie, at least watch the ending because it's a spectacular show.
All right. And then I go to Guardians, and I really like Guardians. Like I said, I thought this was going to be the movie that really flopped. I just didn't think people were going to get behind it. But by this time, the trains have been going enough to where people were giving it a chance, and like everybody knocked it out of the park. Chris Pratt came in and hadn't been doing a whole lot other than Parks and Rec, and he crushed it.
Dude got fit.
I like it in Parks and Rec. They reference how he got so big. Did you see that? He's I just quit drinking beer. How much beer were you drinking? A lot. And he laughs about it. But no, that's a great flick. Had a decent villain. It gave you a little bit more of Thanos, which you were drooling for at this point. It's like, where is this kid?
When is it gonna happen?
Oh, mercy. But then we go to Spider-Man, and I really like Spider-Man. The only problem I have with this movie, there's a lot of pros. He said most of them. I'm going to go negative because he took all the good stuff.
Sorry, I like positive. I try to be positive.
I know.
I even like bad movies.
I know.
I'll point out
come
positives.
to the darkness for me. Come to the darkness. But anyway, so with this movie, you have Michael Keaton, who's phenomenal. Tom Holland is phenomenal. Everybody is phenomenal. The only thing that holds back in this movie is that I like also is they address it that Iron Man's in it, and like. From when the Avengers show up, I'm like, okay, now how do you have these solo films after they could all just get together? Well, they do a really good job of breaking up and doing this, that, and they did a nice balance in this movie of him trying to teach this kid, have his own son, be his own father figure. Anyway, that was really done well. The only thing I don't like about it is that the Vulture, I didn't think could hold his own against Spider-Man. They really toned down Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a very strong, quick character, and they toned him down. Because if you watch the fight scene between him and Falcon in Civil War, that fight scene's over in like 30 seconds. And in this one, Falcon and Vulture are very similar. Vulture's just more of an aggressive, and it just goes. And you're I don't think that.
I'll give you that's
fair.
It.
That's the only thing that holds back.
The only reason that I would say anything is maybe it's just because he's young and maybe he's a little arrogant. But other than that, it does seem like he gets a little.
All right, next up on my list is Ant-Man and the Wasp. I really like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think the villain was a breath of fresh air. I really think it had a lot of heart. Overall the story was just nice, nice change of pace. Really like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think the movies above it are just a little bit better. After that we go Captain America, and I love Captain America. I wish they would have bumped him up a little bit more. I wish they would have talked about more strategy and stuff like that, because he has a ton of strategy and they don't really address it. He has a ton of, after this movie, he's got a little bit in Avengers, but in Ultron he's like kicking and flipping and twirling, and I would have liked to seen like something more along the lines of Dragon Ball Z, where you every time you fight, you get stronger. Every time you do something, every time you almost die, you get stronger. Something like that. I would have liked to have seen.
If you look in the background of movies that feature Captain America, he does seem a little bit stronger each film.
Yeah, because he goes from like a wrestler, like kicking and punching and shield hitting people, and then all of a sudden he's kicking and flipping and doing awesome stuff in Ultron, which Ultron is my favorite Captain America suit.
Being in the ice for that long must have done something.
Right. I just wish they would have addressed that. But other than that, Tommy Lee Jones was phenomenal. The cast was great. Like, they did a really good job of bringing you World War II with some high tech stuff that didn't make it feel space agey. I like the guy who played the Red Skull. I don't like the look of Red Skull, and I'm sad that they didn't. This is kind of spoiler. I'm sad they didn't use him more. But I like the Red Skull in the 1990 Captain America better. Like, where it's like almost glistening and it's like skull cracked and it's really dark and it's freaky. I like that one. This one was a little too much CGI, a little too clean, a little too clean. That's just me though.
But the other one totally looked like it came from 1990.
No, it looks great. I got the VHS in the garage right now.
I've seen enough to know.
Nope. I will go get that movie right now. In fact, I will
later.
So after that one, we've got Iron Man 2, and I really like Iron Man 2. I like the action, I like the comedy, I like Don Cheadle, I like Terrence Howard, but Don Cheadle is nice. Great action. The villain's a little weak. Mickey Rourke, he just didn't seem like he had the level of intelligence that character needed. And I'm not saying Mickey Rourke didn't, but the character he portrayed didn't have that level of intelligence. And I like the dude that plays Justin Hammer. Hammer's fantastic. He's a little full of himself, a little weird, but his things don't work, but he makes it sell because he's I don't know. I do like the movie a lot. There are some weak points in it, but I always like that movie. But by Iron Man 3, when he's having so many problems that he can't be who he is, it's just kind of annoying. It just takes it out of me. Just be Iron Man and go kick some butt. Which is why I like the Avengers movies with him in it. Right, my bird.
Is that a reference to an Arnold movie? Never mind.
No.
Moving on.
So then we go to Black Panther, and Black Panther, just like we said, phenomenal. Couldn't have asked for better characters. Michael B. Jordan is phenomenal. Best role for most of the people in this movie. Yeah, it's just great. Yeah, it's great. No, I don't. No, I don't. No.
No.
Yep.
No.
It's great.
Good.
It's one of the. I think I own like 5 movies on 4K, and it's one of them. It's so good. Age of Ultron. This one's probably high on mine because I have it downloaded to. I've had it downloaded for the longest time, and I don't download movies until recently. So if I was on a car ride home because I live 3 hours from my family, this is the one I watch over and over and over when I was driving by myself. Not like I'm watching it while I'm driving, but off to the side. And I just really like it. The more I watch it, the more I like it. I don't like the title, Age of Ultron. It's like, it's not very long. I really do wish they would have, I really wish they would have, let the character keep
like
going.
The Wild West, Only a couple years, but...
Right. But I really do like that movie. I mean, there are a few little nitpicks here and there, but overall I love it. And it's my favorite Captain America suit. I will say that every time. I love that suit. Endgame is my second favorite.
There's so many comments for later.
So then we go to the original Iron Man, and Iron Man is just, it's groundbreaking, it's phenomenal. The CGI still holds up to today. The acting is great. The villain's awesome, and I feel like Jeff Bridges gets outshined or forgotten about, maybe just forgotten about because it's been so long, and he didn't have a whole lot of screen time like Loki and Thanos and stuff like that. Great villain, villain. So then we go to Avengers, which was groundbreaking also. I mean, you had some stuff out there, like you had League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is getting a bunch of supernatural people together to do stuff and yada yada.
Have you had Watchmen by then?
Yeah.
But that was a lot darker.
Pretty sure. Anyway, yeah, and I like Watchmen. We'll have to do that sometime. So from there we go to Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier is fantastic. Like he said, I mean, villain's amazing. When he just walks around, he's like, boo, boo, boo. And it's like, oh, hand me my next gun. Boo, 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 next gun. Like, he just goes.
He doesn't stop.
He's
amazing. Like the Terminator. Yeah. And it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. Unfortunately, though, he has the opposite effect of Captain America. He goes downhill as the movies go. Captain America goes the other way. They kind of...
Something's going to have to happen about that.
Yeah. Number 3 on my list is Captain America Civil War. I remember the poster came out for this movie. I was pumped. The poster is awesome, them all facing off. I really like the fight scenes. I like the drama. I like the character development and the fallout. Yeah, great movie overall. For more of my feelings on it, check out our spoiler review. And then we go to Infinity War as number 2. Number 2, it's so good. I mean, there's only a couple slow parts into it, like we talked about in our spoiler review. It's just so good, man. The fight scenes, the situations, the characters, the way they bounce off each other, and I mean everything about it, man. And then my number one is Endgame. Can't say a whole lot about it because I don't want to spoil it for you. Because we're gonna have a spoiler-free review, go and check that out. But it gave me everything I wanted to see in a lot of these movies leading up. It didn't drop the ball anywhere. Villains are phenomenal. It twists and turns and tugs on you, heartstrings, and it's just like,
We'll get into that soon.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's really good.
And I don't know, like some of these will fluctuate just by the mood you're in, and when you go rewatch it, maybe they move up and down. But I don't know if Endgame will move. I love that movie.
My list is totally not concrete. It'll fluctuate.
As we found out with whatever and whatever.
Yeah, no, it's more. I can tell you that the top probably 5-10 spots will never change. That's just, those are the ones that I go for the most. However, after seeing Endgame, I want to go back and rewatch all of them.
Oh, man.
Like, it's all that I can think about. Like, I actually want to like call in sick for a month and just
binge. Definitely own that on 4K. That will be my 6th movie in 4K because I don't see anything else coming out that I'm going to buy. But anyway, comment down below. Let us know if you agree with him more or me more.
Got your own thoughts?
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. I want to see some lists and why, and let me know if you think I'm wrong. Because give me reasons. That's why I love doing this stuff with Caleb, and I like talking to him about movies, is because he finds a lot of good stuff in everything, and I love people that talk me into loving movies, because that's what we go to the theater for. We go to the theater to to like the movie we go to see. I don't go to watch the world burn. Like, I don't want to hate this movie and just come back and rant about it.
Just wait till we get to Freddy Krueger. We've had some arguments.
We have. Whew. But yeah, so stay tuned to our spoiler review, which we should have up here in a couple days. Until then, I'm John. He's Caleb. Make sure and hit the like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification so you can get some more R&R. Till next time, JK out.
Don't spoil it.